Andrea Castilla, 28, Santa Ana, California.
Candace Bowers, 40, Garden Grove, California.
Moments ago, one by one, the names of the 58 victims of the Las Vegas shooting were read in a poignant night of remembrance, marking 1 year since a Las Vegas shooting.
It was the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
Survivors and the community came together in a powerful way to show they're now Vegas stronger. Good evening, I'm Jeff Vaughn.
I'm Suzanne Marquez.
And I'm Pat Harvey, live from Las Vegas. And we are standing in front of the Mandalay Bay Hotel and in front of the iconic Las Vegas Strip, where less than an hour ago, something happened here that rarely happens. In fact, only a handful of times on the Las Vegas Strip, dating back to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the lights on the Strip went dark to honor the 58 people who lost their lives at the Country Music Festival, which was staged right across the street from where we're standing right now. And another special event happened during that ceremony, if you will. Hundreds of people gathered around this venue and formed a human chain in support. And when I say hundreds, I'm talking about family members, survivors, friends, and all of this information went out through a simple, and I should say powerful, social media post asking people to come and form this human chain to show support for the victims, people who lost their lives, and even for the survivors. And this happened just as the lights went dim. And on top of all of that, on Las Vegas Boulevard, right behind me, there were several pickup trucks that just formed a line, stopped in the middle of the boulevard, got out of their trucks. People got out of their trucks and started honking their horns and cheering, and hundreds of people lining Las Vegas Boulevard joined in with cheers of their own to show their support and to show us exactly what Las Vegas Strong truly means. It was a very prolific moment and very emotional for us, but at the same time, it showed a sense of pride for the people of Las Vegas that want to show honor and how proud they are at the same time to be from this city. That's really how they want this city to be remembered. Another very emotional and more somber event occurred at the Healing Garden, where we'll find our Nicole Comstock, where they read off the names of the 58 victims there. This was quite a moment, and we'll go to Nicole now to tell us more about that. Nicole?
That's right, Pat. There were two absolutely beautiful ceremonies out here this evening in the Community Healing Garden. The second one you just mentioned, the reading of the names, just got wrapped up out here a couple of minutes ago. That was, again, another beautiful moment where people got to remember all of the lives that they lost out here. And that, again, came just after they dedicated this remembrance wall this evening.
Michelle Vo, 32, Marina Del Rey, California.
The sun sets behind a tower of clouds, creating an arc over hundreds of people in the crowd. Not a rainbow, but a shadow in the shape of one.
We saw the sign in the sky.
A powerful metaphor for how everyone feels here today, 1 year later, dedicating a remembrance wall to the 58 people killed at the Route 91 Harvest Festival.
Rachel Parker, 33, Long Beach, California.
One of those people brought two members of a Southern California Police Department nearly 300 miles for the ceremony.
33 years old at the time of her death. She was attending the concert with three other members of our police department.
Rachel Parker worked at Manhattan Beach PD for 10 years and will forever be remembered for her sweet, helpful spirit.
We're out here because Rachel is so full of life, such a wonderful person, and we don't want her ever to be forgotten.
Cameras were the only sounds in the crowd as people placed a flower on the fence for each victim, commemorating this milestone. 1 year stronger.
I want to thank you all for being here tonight.
And you can also see those 58 candles burning behind us this evening that were also lit to honor those victims. This culminating ceremony, certainly one that everyone out here will remember for a lifetime. We'll send it back over to you, Pat.
All right, thank you for that, Nicole. And I'm sure the family members and survivors are very much appreciative of that, for their loved ones to be remembered in such a beautiful and honest way. I want to also say something before we leave here. We walked across the street to the Mandalay Bay because we wanted to get a sense of what was happening on Las Vegas Boulevard when all of those trucks, as you could hear, people are still cheering behind us. And we ran into some people, one of them a survivor and from Southern California. She was with a group of women who told us, yeah, we just wanted to get a quick picture of this and to witness what was happening on the Strip ourselves, but we can't bring ourselves to go back into the Mandalay Bay Hotel. In fact, one of them said, I can never do that. So just wanted to say this to just show how much this has touched, has disturbed, has moved so many people in so many different ways. But I think the whole meaning of today was to bring this community together and the community of survivors and family members, those who lost loved ones, those who just come to this city just every now and then to know that they are still standing strong in the face of such tragedy that happened 1 year ago. But it is also a tragedy that they will never forget, but still hold that love in their hearts. And they want people to come back, and they want their loved ones to be remembered that way. So it has truly been an honor for me to be here as well and to bring you these tributes with my colleagues. So with that, I'm going to close here from Las Vegas. I'm Pat Harvey. I'll see you tomorrow night. Jeff, back to you.
That's right, all of those survivors making Vegas stronger. Pat, thank you so much. Suzanne?
Jeff, we're moving to breaking news. Suspected gang members wanted for murder lead police on a dangerous chase and carjacking that finally came to an end in North Hollywood. CBS 2's Brittany Hopper is live in North Hollywood with a look at that violent chase. Brittany.
Suzanne, this is where it all ended, and shockingly, no one was injured, but this was a very crazy pursuit.
Woo! Heartbreak! Whoa!
Several close calls nearly hitting cars as they raced through streets of Burbank and North Hollywood. At one point, he drives around a car on a residential road, crashing into a trash can. He suddenly hits his brakes hard and stops. Two passengers jump out and take off running. The driver then speeds off, almost hitting another car in an intersection. The driver stops at a park and takes off running, runs through a park and over the pedestrian bridge over the 170 freeway.
Up there he is.
Then runs into a parking lot and carjacks a small SUV. The driver then runs out as the suspect crawls in through the passenger side and drives off. Police then pin the SUV before it can leave the parking lot, crashing into it from the front. The suspect puts his hands up and crawls out of the SUV, giving himself up.
No, it actually...
Now, police say the suspect is a known gang member and was wanted for murder. We are live tonight in North Hollywood. Brittany Hopper, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Brittany, thank you so much. Now to more revelations about the past of President Trump's Supreme Court pick.
President Trump defended nominee Brett Kavanaugh during a rally in Tennessee tonight, saying Democrats are trying to destroy a fine man.
Kavanaugh is now being investigated by the FBI for alleged sexual assault dating back to his high school and college days. His drinking habits are also under scrutiny.
I never saw him passed out, but I saw him quite drunk. He saw me quite drunk.
And he testified that he did drink and wasn't proud of everything.
He did, but he also downplayed to a great degree the possibility that he could ever not know what was going on.
That was a Yale classmate challenging some of Kavanaugh's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee last week. One of Kavanaugh's accusers says a drunken Kavanaugh assaulted her.
Now to fire at a homeless encampment in Koreatown has residents on edge tonight. The flames torched two cars and came within inches of burning an apartment building. It was a frantic scene as neighbors used a garden hose to beat down the flames. Now many people outraged over what has become of that area.
It was very close to catching this building on fire. The trees were on fire.
I feel really fortunate that it happened when people were awake and home.
One neighbor we talked to said she's moving. We checked it with Councilman Herb Wesson's office. The staff says he's aware of it and is working with city agencies.
A mystery in the sky over Laverne. 2 deadly plane crashes in just 24 hours, feet apart from each other. They both happened near Brackett Field Airport. Last night, a seasoned pilot flying a Cessna reported a problem and crashed shortly after that. He was killed. Then just before noon today, another small plane crashed and exploded into flames, killing the pilot. The NTSB says the crashes are not connected.
Some serious horseplay in a bar. Find out how this big guy got in the pub.
That's ahead, plus this.
I feel like the jury was manipulated.
Flawed justice. Our Randy Page has spent years delving into a murder case, and he'll show us what his explosive new podcast is revealing.
And for the 6th straight year, the Dodgers, division champs. Jim Hill has more on their big win over the Rockies.
Hey everybody, I'm Garth Kemp out by the beach. Looks good. There's some big surf coming away. Plus, we've been tracking some rain. We'll have your forecast coming up.
And here's a look at the guests tonight on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.